So I decided to put this quick little clip together to compare the new style Warboss to a Warboss on bike I did a while back. The old Ork Boys knob sculpt. And I have here my old style Ork Snow Boys. The War Trike. The blue skin, the green skin. I definitely prefer the green. I definitely prefer the look of the flag and everything else. So far, so good. And there you have it. Ork Warboss Snow Base. Cork base with the extra Space Marine head for interest. But the two paints we're going to start with: Citadel Orc Flesh with a little bit of yellow ink mixed in. And we're just going to go ahead and paint all the skin that yellowish green contrast style. And you can get a feel for how much yellow you want to add, or compared to how much of the contrast you want to add. When you do this for your orcs, to me, I kind of like a lot less of the yellow. And this I actually learned painting an army about 3 years ago from Vince Venturella. Shout out to Vince, but he's the one that said to add a little bit of yellow to the contrast to make it have a nicer color, and I have to agree with him because I do like that color. You can go ahead and get the mouth. And then, let's see, we got the neck. Armpit. Wherever you see it kind of pooling on a large flat surface, just go ahead and spread it around. All these other bits, I mean, if you're trying to do it yourself and use all contrast, then by all means go ahead. But I'm actually going to be painting all over all that with a different color. And originally I was actually going to prime this black and do a white zenithal, but I don't know if you can see my fingers. My black rattle can was giving me a hard time, so I was like, you know what, I'll just do this the way I did it before I knew about zenithal and just start off with a white model. Most people speed painting would recommend an all black model to start. I tend to agree, but since we're using contrast anyways, not that big a deal. So the next paint I'm going to use for this Warboss is Gore Grunt of Fur contrast. And I'm going to hit, let's hit the bullets. Let's hit the skirt. Let's hit the pants. Let's hit the boots. And this video is going to be a little different of a method compared to my Space Marines. It's going to be a little more detailed of a process because I already have an orc army. So I'm going to be adapting this model to fit in with that army. I have a snow army, so it's going to be snow based. I'll make sure to add footage to my current army so that way you can kind of compare this model to the army itself and see if you guys like the the speed paint version, or if you guys like the normal speed version that I painted most of my other orcs at. Interesting enough, when I started painting, I used to spend a lot more time on my models. Now that I've been doing it for a while, I kind of try to rush everything, which makes sense because back then I didn't really have too much responsibilities, and now as an adult you kind of got a lot going on in life, so it is what it is. But get the pants. You don't have to be tidy. You just want to make sure you got plenty of paint on your brush and just keep moving along. When you're using contrast, you want to make sure you don't leave any white spots on whatever you're working on, like whatever section of the model you're painting, because when it's all painted on the table, it's going to be stand out like a sore thumb. And I'm going to keep dropping this reminder throughout my videos. Make sure you guys clean your brushes. I've been using this brush for a while, and I'm actually amazed at how good it still works, but that's because I've just been constantly cleaning it whenever I use it. I'll go ahead and hit this sheath. I'll probably end up going over that with black, but the brown's not a bad undertone. So I'm gonna hit the teeth a little bit. If you're gonna hit the skin, then just honestly, it's fine not doing this part. But I'm gonna hit the teeth a little bit. I'll hit the horns. And you'll see as I paint this model, the way I go about painting models, and something I've kind of adapted over the years, is I try to use less colors, so that way it makes the army look more cohesive as a whole when there's only so many colors in all the army. B, it kind of just goes to show you don't need a massive collection of paints to paint armies. I mean, I collect a lot of paints, but I really don't use most of them. I have the ones I like and the ones I dislike. You'll see right there, I accidentally got some of the green contrast into my brush doing the strap, but I'm just going to add that little bit of green in there, give it a little flavor. There's another strap right there. Let's use the tip. And then you can see where this gas can is all wrapped up. I'm gonna hit that as well. I hit the gas can too, but I'm gonna go over that with probably with an orange, just because my army already have a bunch of gas cans in there and I painted them all orange. Oh, there's another gauntlet. Go ahead and get the brown on that too. Just for simplicity's sake. I mean, if you want to go back over it and do it black or whatever, depending on what your scheme is. If you're going goth, I'm just doing a whatever, so that's what it looks like with the green and the brown. Alright, so here I've given the green and the brown time to dry, and I'm going to be getting everything else base coated except for that little hose coming down to the weapon with dark gray blue ProAcryl. This is like really the main color that brings all my snow orks together. It's what you could basically airbrush the whole model with this color and zenithal to save time if you really wanted to, but I'm just kind of doing this a different way. And now I'm just going to take the dark gray blue and go over the whole model and try to avoid all the places already painted. It's a little thick. I'm going to add a little water to my mix. And I know this process is probably going to take the longest, so I'll probably end up shortening the film. Normally I just film me doing the whole thing, but like I said, since this is a different army, this is going off of my Snow Ork army rather than a speed paint method. I'm just going to go ahead and expedite the video so that way you guys get the gist of it and you guys can go back to whatever parts you're on and make whatever adjustments you like to your model when you decide to paint it. Make sure we're still on camera. Go ahead and paint this. See this axe head? Like I said, I'm going to leave that hose alone for now and paint the little pauldron blue too. You can see because I primed the whole model white, your paints do come off as a contrast paint, which is a good look if you know how to spread the paint in a way that keeps things interesting. And you make sure you avoid leaving white spots on the model itself. I'm going to keep that part. Now I got to go over it. Alright, and then off camera, I'm going to go ahead and hit the ring of the base real quick, so you guys know what we're dealing with. Now for the hose and the flag, I'm going to head and use this Iron Jaws yellow. Cha-ching. Bada bing. Make sure I got a good tip on my brush. When in doubt, clean your brush, even if it's just water. And this yellow definitely adds a bright element to the model that you wouldn't see otherwise. And I'm going off of a hunch, and I'm going to actually paint this flag yellow, and I'll show you guys a trick that I've used in the past with a different army to make that flag look pretty good in a very easy way. It's funny when you go over the blue with the yellow, you're going to get a green. You'll see that as you paint. Go ahead and shake it up real good. We're going to go ahead and go over it all over again with this Vallejo steel. If you miss a few spots, that's fine, because you got the blue in the recesses to sort of cover up for your tracks. And this paint specifically kind of has a black wash built into it, which is good to cover those pesky white primer areas that you missed in the first go around with the blue. I'm going to go ahead and hit the Space Marine helmet with this steel too. Hit this guy's skull helm. Make sure to get it into the recesses. This is one we should be a little more clean with, but I feel like I'm somewhat losing my patience. No, let's do this right. There we go, that's the paint I'm looking for. And then whenever you use these metal paints, make sure you clean out your water pot, because all that metal flakes will get into your whatever neck colors you use next if you don't clean it out properly. I got a little metal on the muscle, but I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it because I am going for a speed paint. This isn't going to be my cleanest model. Oh, the axe. Yeah, the axe is one of the most important parts. And let's take a quick look. Oh, we're definitely gonna paint that gas can real quick. And I'm actually just gonna hit it with the same burnt red I used in my previous Space Marine tutorials. Just try to keep the model simple, keep from using too many paints. Just kind of show you what kind of effect you can get. Just by being tidy. Yeah, this brush is not looking too good after that. Might have to swap it out for something else, something I haven't used as much. So I've got somewhat of a black base done. I'll finish that in a second. But I want to add the ivory. Let's see. So let's hit. I just want to hit that inner eye socket. I'm gonna hit inner bit on there. Hit the teeth. Just make sure that the features that make a orc face an orc face really pop out from a distance. This strap I got ruined. I'm actually going to hit that. And then actually I'm going to go over it one more time with the original Gorgrunta fur. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to hit this little skull here. And then remember to paint that blue. This horn, thin down your brush. You have a little brown on your palette, you can mix it a little brown so it's not quite the bright, and then just go over that too. So you don't want it to be as bright as the teeth, but you definitely want it to be more of a bone color than the mouth. Bullets good. Space Marine good. Skull up here. Skull on the base. That's what our model looks like. And then real quick, I have a highlight color from ProAcryl that I used for the rest of my other orc army. Bright Yellow Green. So we'll get that on the palette. Get your detail brush. Right now I'm using the Citadel medium base with a nice point. And catch the fingers. Catch the big muscles. Right there, I kind of messed up that, so let's go over that real quick. all these big muscle sections. That should be a brighter color. Work that paint in there. Whatever part of your model hasn't really been the cleanest or hasn't really made too much sense. The skin especially, that really cleans up the skin tone. It allows your first layer to fill the shadows more than define the color itself. This is the stage where if you really take your time, you can really get a lot of good detail on the model. I probably have to clean that off. See if I could capture it. So get a nice thick, you can see how much better that muscle looks with a layer or two of that neon green paint. Even that black, you could blend that black. If you saw closely, like that metal, I'm going to cover that metal, the neck, the bicep. Just keep working that bright yellow green in there. Dark, pretty dirty, and then just get the tips. Just literally just work on the tip of that skin. Try to get it a little bit into the recesses here where that jaw plate is, but yeah, you could even see how much better that face looks with just that little bit of green skin. Gonna work on these rocks. Gonna work on the base with I got a little mix of the dark gray blue and the AK rock gray, and we're just gonna start blending this. We use the Gore Crunch of Fur contrast paint. We'll use some glaze medium. We're going to go ahead and first we're going to put the glaze medium on our palette. And then we're going to add a slight amount of that Gore Grunts of Fur to make like a Gore Grunts of Fur wash almost. And then we're going to take that wash and we're just going to go over this flag. And we're going to go over it thick too. You can see it has like an interesting effect to it. It's kind of splotchy. But it's kind of, it blends in with the model, which is nice. Definitely want to get as much of it as you can into the recesses, let it pool. You can do the same with this hose here. So it gives it some visual appeal. Get some of that into the steel blue weapon. Make it look kind of worn, rusty. Shoulder pads. Into the bone. Some smidges into the helmet. Into the skull. To the weapon. Into the rock. Just add a little bit of that Gorgonzola fur wash into everything to make it all blend together. And then actually I'm gonna get, so you can see on the flag, let's get a Q-tip and just go over the edges. Normally you do this with an oil paint, and if you see too much excess you can get rid of that too, but just go over the edges. Not really looking for perfection here, we're just, ooh, you know what, maybe that's not such a good idea because it's coming loose. Oh no. Yep. But yeah, that's what we look like so far. Now we just gotta, I'm gonna do some steel on that blade and then finish off the base with some snow. Alright, so off camera I touched up a few things, specifically the rocks. I tried to recreate that little skull in the chest on the flag. I did a little bigger on the back, which is kind of awkward, but on the table it looked fine. And then right now I'm doing a gloss on the base. I got Vallejo gloss varnish. Just all that blue is going to be ice, so just go ahead and add a gloss varnish on all that. Last but not least, I have this AK snow diorama, and I'm gonna go ahead and spread it across where I just put the gloss at. Making the Warboss appear to be traversing snow terrain, so it fits in perfectly with the rest of my snow orc army. And you can wait for your gloss to dry, but if not, it works just fine. When doing bases, you just want to be gentle. Get in the motion. I feel like after you've done enough of them, you don't have to think about what you're doing as much. Gonna get some of that snow on top of the rocks and the cracks, just like you would see in nature. It's a big crack right there. Add some snow. Big crack right there. Add some snow. Add some snow. Around the Space Marine helmet, add some snow. Put a little bit on top of the helmet, it's fine. You can get a little bit on his back. But this is where the model really I tend to put less. I've tried putting a lot of snow on the back to make it look like he's heavily covered. And in my experience, it makes it look awkward. Maybe you'll have better results, better luck, but for me, I keep it minimal. I get some on the shoulders, like a pile on the shoulders, a couple small piles on the horns, the helmet, by the face. A way bigger pile up here on top of the flag. Wherever you see skulls, I feel like the white kind of gives the skulls a little bit of attention. Crevice on the muscle can get a little bit, but not a lot. Trust me, less is more with this stuff when it comes to that model itself. In my experience, on top of the weapon. Top, I would say put a lot on. I don't like how that skull turned out, so I'm going to put a lot of it on top of that skull. Hopefully it'll kind of make it a little less noticeable. Get a smidgen on that front jaw. A little more on the rocks. And a little bit on that gas can. A little bit on his pouch, a little bit on his hip.